Do you, okay, perfect.
What do you want to still say?
I was say record. You didn't record it, but you got that. So never mind. You got it.
Okay. So for the training last week, what Jackie asked me to cover and do my little video on was what I do for client support to kind of just go above and beyond and put the cherry on top, or that weird word that Dr. A likes to say, but I'm not going to attempt. And so I kind of went over the things that I do for my out-of-town clients and the things I do for my in-town clients. And I will say, like, you know, play to your own strengths. Like, just because I figured there's a lot of things I'm going to say here. Some of them might not be something, they might be totally overwhelming to you. They might not work, but I had to go with what worked for me. And one of the main things that works for me is I'm kind of addicted to my cell phone. And I love apps. So the first app that I use with my clients is called Twogrand, Twogrand. And Whitney is actually the one who introduced me to this one. But, and then I introduced her to the next one I'm going to talk about. But it is like, if you guys use Instagram, it's basically Instagram for your food. It's a food journaling app. And I love it. I love it because I tend to forget when I eat, and a lot of my clients tend to forget when they eat, but it timestamps your food, and it's quick and it's easy, and I don't have to write out what I ate. I just snap a picture of it, click submit, and I put it up there. Now, I let all of my clients know about it. I have some clients that love to actively use it. They like that I am checking up on them. I like that they see what I'm eating. It's a little more accountability for me as well. But then I have a ton of clients who don't actually take pictures or track their food, but they use it simply to get ideas. It's really nice for them to see what I'm eating for my lean and green, what other people are eating for lean and greens. You can comment on it and say, hey, how'd you make that? Or see how I'm mixing up my MetaFast meals. Just giving them that, like, hey, come stalk what I'm eating and see if it helps you. Then the other app that I will say is probably one of my absolute favorites is called Voxer, Voxer. And I know some of you, I just saw Tiara got on it last week. But I remember calling Whitney and being like,
never mind. I'll tell you later.
Oh, I'm like, can you please just get on Voxer? Because it would make my life so much easier. And this was, I don't even know if I was coaching yet, or I think I just started coaching. And it's basically a walkie-talkie app, but we're all really busy. And I don't necessarily always have time to stop and give someone my undivided attention on the telephone. But I can talk back and forth while I'm Voxering someone, while I'm doing 50 million other things and talking to my kids, or I'm driving, or I'm doing something. And so it's been really helpful. It's been helpful coaching aspect. It's been helpful client aspect. But one of the best things about it that I've noticed is when I have a client that's struggling, they will talk to me. My clients that are struggling will talk to me through Voxer 10 times on Voxer before they'll talk to me on the phone. And I think they don't want to disappoint me. And but for some reason they can leave me a message, and then they know I get back to them, and we kind of go back and forth. Or I've had clients that'll Voxer me and I'm in the middle of doing something. They're like, Sonia, I really want to eat a sandwich. It's down the street. I really want to go. And I just know, like, don't do it. Let me entertain you for 15 minutes and we'll just Voxer while I'm still living my own life. And it's just kind of a fun little extra, I'm not always available, but my phone just does this little chirp chirp at me when someone's Voxing me, and I just listen. And that's a lot of fun. And then as far as my in-town clients go, a lot of that you guys know. A lot of it is, I do my monthly Habit of Health luncheon. I'll get together with clients and do freezer meals. I will make them something, and take it to them. Sometimes I like making the little peanut butter truffles and making those. But I will say, like, when I first got into this, there were a lot of people that said, schedule your weekly calls. And I tried that for a while. I tried, okay, I'm going to do all my weekly calls on Monday. And after a while, I realized that just wasn't me. And so what I do instead is I kind of, and I can say this because I know you're all members of the church, but I kind of look at this like Heavenly Father wants these people to get healthy and take care of their body. And I'm partnering with him. And I try and let the Spirit guide who needs a call that day. And so on Fridays, people are doing really good, usually get my call on Friday. But other than that, I really just try and say, like, let those people come to my mind and let the Spirit kind of just tell me, okay, who needs a call today? And I'll do however many calls that day and the next day. And instead, I just really, for some reason, it didn't fit well with me doing the calls. And maybe it takes a little more time. For me, it tends to work into my life a little bit better. It was really hard for me to consistently, with 4 kids and all of their schedules, say from this time to this time, Monday nights is always blocked off for calls. So there's that. And then something that I didn't cover in the little training video, because there just wasn't time for it, was something that really kind of changed the way that I looked at my client support. And that was when I went to a training up in Nashville with Lydia Wente. And she got up there and basically said to everyone, and it was the first time I'd heard it, and it was like, oh, thank you for saying that. She got up there and basically said, I hate doing client calls. I've hated it for a long time. I don't love it. And all I had heard prior to that was people getting on and being like, I feel so uplifted when I talk to my clients, and I love talking to my clients every week. I was like, I'm a horrible coach. I do not love talking to my clients every week. Sometimes I dread it. I dread hearing the same thing. I'm like, oh my gosh, they ate something awful and I'm going to have to deal with this. And she just talked about how she stopped being that coach who, when they are having a problem or they say, ugh, I totally had a crappy week, she stopped being that coach that was like, well, let's remind you of your why. And I want you to read this chapter in the book. I think that'll really help you. And here's kind of the steps you should take, which, you know, I felt like I was doing it. I felt like I was going nowhere with that. And instead, she said, just, it's time to start being really real with your clients. And when they are having a crappy time, relate to them. Tell them, you know what, I suck at that also, or I'm struggling too. And admitting to them, you know, we kind of get this image that we have to, if we're going to be the perfect health coach, we have to be the perfect person on program also. And we can't mess up and we can't struggle with things. We have to be the example instead of just saying, that's so hard for me and I totally get it. And then she said, one of the things she does is she just asks them to partner with her instead and saying, okay, you're really struggling with this week. You know what? That's a struggle for me too. What if would you be willing to partner together? And let's just do 7 days. Let's do 7 days and do a little tiny challenge, just you and I, and check in 7 days and see how we do on it, you know, and just changing that aspect of feeling like it was okay for me to be real with them. And it was okay for me to not just give them the cookie cutter answer, but to really be interested and more empathetic and really kind of embody empathetic coaching instead of having all the answers coaching. So those are kind of the things I use for coaching, and also kind of my evolution of coaching and how I handle coaching my clients and how I've actually come to enjoy talking to my clients again. So that's about it. And I don't know if we want to turn it over to Wendy, or if you guys want to, because I know you guys all have great ideas too, and I'd love to hear what you guys do. So, but I don't know what we have time for. So I'll let Jackie, what do you think? How are we doing on time?
I think we're fine. If anybody wants to comment, that's great. I loved it. I learned even more now this time than from your video. So I love it. Thank you. But if anybody has something they're dying to say it right now. If not, we're gonna let Wendy do it. Go ahead and go.
I do. Everybody go download Voxer, and I'm so glad that Tiara finally got Voxer.
You like it?
Voxer?
No, does Tiara like it? Has she played with it yet?
Yeah, I've played with it. In fact, when Spencer's working upstairs and I'm downstairs, like we'll Voxer each other. Just because it's easier, because the girls are napping and we don't want to yell from like upstairs to downstairs. Of course, I could probably get some, you know, like neat points by walking up the stairs to talk to them, but it's just a little bit faster when I'm in my groove. So.
Did anybody else's, did Corinne freeze on anybody else's computer?
Yeah, she looks really funny to me.
I don't see anything.
Oh, it's a pretty good shot. Go to gallery view.
She's going to love it. Oh, dang, it changed.
Pretty good. Freeze frame.
Corinne, you got to watch the playback for that freeze frame of you.
That's awesome.
Okay, Wendy, you're up.
Okay, go ahead.
There we go. So I think that's good. I think we can be done.
Whatever.
That was great. I used to use Voxer all the time, and since I got my new phone, I totally forgot to put it on my new phone, so I'll have to remember to do that. Thanks for the reminder. Okay, I'm going to try to, is it okay if I bring up my PowerPoint? So I'm going to attempt to screen share here. Can you guys hear me?
Mhm.
Kate, why is it saying to share your computer? Can you guys see this?
We can't see anything.
Okay, it's saying that I have to install. Let me go back and see if I can. Oh, there.